Today we're going to talk about some factoring techniques. We've done a lot of review of just our basic trinomials, so I want to review difference of squares and then also teach you how to factor when you have cubes. So let's start with difference of squares. This is one that we've had before. You should recognize this. But difference of squares happens when you have a problem that looks like this. It has to be a difference, so it has to be a minus sign, and then these two things are perfect squares. Those always factor into a plus minus. And to get the first number, we take the square root of a squared, which is a, and the square root of b squared, which is b. Okay, so that is a difference of squares. So we'll just do some practice with that first before we attempt to do anything else. So this first one, x squared minus 100, you should recognize that. You need to be able to recognize that as a difference of squares and that it's going to factor into a plus minus. We know it's a difference of squares because it's a difference and both of these are perfect squares. So if you take the square root of x squared, you get x. And if you take the square root of 100, you get 10. Okay, so x plus 10, x minus 10. Let's take a look at the next one. Again, it's a minus sign, so it's a difference, and these are both perfect squares, so it will factor into a plus minus. So the square root of m to the fourth is m squared, and the square root of 1 is 1. Now this problem is not finished. This first thing that you're finished with that, m squared plus 1. But m squared minus 1, that's another difference of squares. So you can do the plus minus thing again. So we take the square root of m squared, which is m, and the square root of 1, which is 1. So when this factors completely, it's m squared plus 1, m plus 1, and minus 1. All right, so those are kind of some basic ones. Getting a little bit more complicated, notice we do have another difference. So this is going to factor into a plus minus. We can take the square root of that, which is going to be 6a cubed. I'm going to rewrite that so you can actually read it. That was not very good. Okay, 6a cubed plus and 6a cubed minus, there we go. And the square root of that is going to be 2b and minus 2b. Okay. All right, this next one, this does not look like a difference of squares. It does look like it has a GCF though, so let's start with that. We can factor out a 5y, which is going to leave us with y cubed minus 64z cubed. And then that is not a difference of squares, so we're just going to leave that. That's actually a cubic, so we'll have to come back to that later. All right, number 5, this appears that it might be a difference of squares. Again, it's definitely a difference. So that'll be a plus minus. The square root of x to the 8th is x to the 4th. And the square root of 9 is 3. Now, this almost looks like, the second one almost looks like it could be another difference of squares, but notice that 3 is not a perfect square, so we can't factor that one further. So we're just going to stop there. And this last one, I think we have another difference of squares here. It's definitely a difference. So plus minus the square root of 1/16 x to the 6th is 1/4 x cubed. And the square root of 25y to the 4th is 5y squared and 5y squared. Okay, so those are the difference of squares. We will check out sum and difference of cubes in the next video.